Alright, today we are reviewing Fly Casual, the Smuggler career sourcebook for Star Wars Edge of the Empire. For the specializations, we got Charmer, who is a talker, and he also can do things, use his talking checks inside combat, debuffs, buffs, that sort of thing. We also have the Gambler, who specializes in not specializing. They have multiple talents which allow them to modify your dice pool or otherwise affect checks of any type. So there's a lot of flexibility there. Also, we have the Gunslinger, a ranged damage dealer who specializes in dual-wielding pistols. If you want to hear more of my thoughts on the specializations in greater detail, there's a separate video for that. For now, let's just say that these are some of my favorite specializations in Edge of the Empire. I think the Colonist might still be my favorite set of three from the source books, but this one is a close second for me. Really great specs. And let's see, let's move on to the species. We have also three of my favorite species. Well, two of them. The Quarren, they're alright. So we got the Quarren, we got the Godel, and we got the Phaleen. And they all have a really unique, interesting ability to them. The Quarren can spit ink, which negatively affects enemies' attack checks. The Phaleen, who are just amazing talkers, they get one really great ability that lets them manipulate their talking checks to a ridiculous extent. Might even be a bit overpowered. Yeah, but they're good at what they do. Now, Godel, or the goat-like people, they have these cones or horns on their head that are sensitive to different types of energy, and they can detect people and the motions of them to a certain range, which just has so many uses. There's a lot of creative ways you can use that for both the player and the GM. Now, for the signature abilities, we have Narrow Escape and Unmatched Fortune. With Narrow Escape, you use it to escape. You do a check and then you escape. Now, this works best when you have a character who can really integrate this into their personality. Maybe they're a coward and, they're kind of a lone wolf, but they're with the group by circumstance. And the first sign of trouble, they want to use this to get away and leave everyone behind, because you can't, until you upgrade it, you can't actually help other people. You escape. So it's very situational. How often can you escape a combat situation or any kind of situation, chase or whatever, and what, you do nothing while your buddies are doing combat, or you think of something else to do? Probably not something that's going to happen very often. So you want this to be something that really fits well with your character. Eventually you can upgrade it to help your teammates, but it could take some time depending on how big your group is and also other allies you might have, NPCs and the like. Unmatched Fortune allows you to modify your dice in a really kind of unique way, but yeah, that's about it. You modify your dice. Pretty useful. Not much else to say about it other than it looks really great. So yeah, there that is. Now the equipment is kind of where this really shines. The equipment, not just the personal, but the ships and the ship attachments, everything really helps you bring to life not just a criminal character or someone who, not necessarily criminal, but kind of has to survive in the Wild West side of Star Wars, the seedy underbelly, or a campaign that's focused on that side, an Edge of the Empire campaign. There's a reason lots of people use this as one of their go-to Edge of the Empire campaign source books, and not just a player career source book, because there's so much here for you to work with. Tons of weapons, especially blaster pistols and other light range weapons, which is great because the core book was severely lacking in support for pistol having people. The attachments is almost nothing for pistols. Almost nothing. Ranged heavy gets some decent support, but not range light, so this is a nice supplement to that. We got lots of stuff that can... Ooh, there's shock boots. You can kick people in the dick and electrocute them. Wonderful. There's even some ballistic stuff like a flechette pistol, probably not saying that right, and a scattergun, a shotgun. They have a shotgun. Cryoband projector, which helps you fight fires and also freeze people. Wonderful melee weapon, vibro rapier. It's got a shit ton of pierce. Holy moly. That's great. Smuggler's trench coat to help you hide stuff. Plenty of stuff to help you hide stuff. There's a safe, lock-picking tools, a cybernetic cavity that allows you to smuggle stuff inside your body like you're a freaking droid, false credentials, a mask for your fingerprint, cargo scanner for your GM to counteract this crap, and paired weapons. Gotta mention paired weapons, because that makes it easier for a dual wielder of any kind, but obviously really helpful to the gunslinger. Plenty of vehicles of different types. Speeder bike. I don't see that many speeder bikes in this game. So there's one. Now, as far as the ships, there are some really great standouts, especially if you're a fan of X-Wing. We got the Starwing Assault Gunboat, which is also in TIE Fighter and that series of PC games that I grew up with. The Decimator from X-Wing, the VT-49 Decimator statted. What else do we got? We got the Gazanti-class armed transport, which is at least a version of what you see in the Rebels TV show if you're watching that. Also, it's one of the huge ships in Star Wars X-Wing miniatures, the one I have, which is great. I love having the stats and the mini. I need to use that in a campaign at some point. Need to run a campaign, actually, in that era for it to make sense. Hawk 1000 Light Fighter, which I assume is better than the 290. I don't know. I don't care. There's also the Interdictor, first of all. The Interdictor with the gravity wells, and that's a great Imperial ship to put in a Smuggler's book. Perfect. And, of course, a giant-ass space platform. 8 silhouette defense platform, a space station, basically, if you need that. And if you and the rest of your players, the rest of your group, got some credits burning a hole in your pocket, we got, it's only like 26 million. That's fine. 39, sure, why not? We got a whole mess of ship attachments, a brain for both astrogation and autopiloting. We have the gun that Han Solo uses in Empire, where he hits a button and this like heavy repeater drops down and fires at the snowtroopers. That's statted in here. Of course, smuggling compartments and an evacuation chute. I can read. It's an evacuation chute to drop your cargo. Because even you will get boarded sometimes. That's a reference to something. They also have some cool little utility stuff like a broadcast suite where it's a radio. It's an entertainment radio system, and that helps your crew, as well as an onboard amenities unit, which makes making deals with people a bit better. It's a bit more comfortable and that sort of thing, so you can make deals on your engine, and there's some stealth stuff in there. A lot of really cool gear for your ship. Ooh, okay, so running smuggling jobs is another section I really like. It talks about running the jobs, but mostly I like this for the charts on setting the price for the cargo that you're transporting, whether it is restricted, unrestricted, how rare it is, were the players late, did they lose or destroy or lose some of the cargo? Was there a blockade? Was the blockade criminal? Was the blockade imperial that they had to go through? Anyway, that's good for transporting anything, any kind of cargo, not just illegal or illegal. We also have dealing with Imperial Customs, the Bureau of Ships and Services. Every ship apparently has a boss data pad with information on it and the stats to hack it to falsify that information to your advantage. How that works is there, as well as dealing with your transponder codes, which is the electronic license plate, essentially, for every spaceship. And there's a whole mess of stuff on how to deal with and tamper with that. We also got a section on navigation, which is great because the section for navigating checks astrogation in here and all of the other core books was a little anemic for my taste, so we have a chart on spending advantages, threats, triumphs, despairs, yada yada yada. We got a couple new routes, new hyperspace lanes, the Corellian Run and Rima Route, Hydean Way, the Kessel Trade Corridor, the Kessel Run, travel time of the Kessel Run, and notable locations and that sort of thing. That could be fun. And some of the things you can spend your symbols on really make the navigator feel a bit more useful, or this could be, probably not someone who's dedicated to navigating, although there is at least one tree that's basically the navigator tree. In fact, I'm pretty sure it's called navigator. Most likely, the person navigating would be the pilot or someone with a high intellect score that hasn't felt useful in a while. Maybe your scholar just hasn't felt useful, or your doctor or your mechanic or whatever. Give them something else to do, and you can focus on navigation as a way of doing that. There's a section on heists and break-ins, which has laser gates, energy fields, pressure plates for traps and the like, scanners and locks, laser traps, reversed pulsar fields, which just makes me think of Mass Effect and Liara suspended in the thing on Pharos? Therum. Or Pharos, or Therum. Not Noveria, Pharos or Therum. This is gonna bug me all fucking day. Don't worry, I'm going to be talking about Mass Effect more in the future. Spoilers. Anyway, gas dispensers, detonators, and the ways of detonating them. those can be just put in wherever you want to, which is great. Showdowns, something a bit more specialized, not something you want to do too often. Basically, you have two players squaring off, and it's a series of checks and some choices to be made, and it's all about really getting the other person to draw first. So if there is a law of the land, they get blamed for starting the incident, but still you want to win initiative and shoot them. They draw first, but you're quicker, and you shoot them first. You can even get, if you roll really well, I think there's some one-hit kill options there. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Very classic Wild West kind of a situation. Also really great in like an Old Republic setting where you have, like the MMO Old Republic, where you have the Empire and the Republic in sort of a shaky truce, and so you might have Sith and Jedi just chilling, doing their business on some planet, and maybe one of them starting something, and you can coerce a Jedi into attacking first, drawing their lightsaber first, maybe. That could be fun, and then you cut them down because you win the thing. That's fun. I need to do that more in my campaign. Hintaro is basically, it's kind of like poker. It's a game where you use actual boost die, and I think a setback die is involved somehow, somewhere. Yeah. Anyway, it's like poker. You roll die and you keep results or re-roll, throw again. I only played it once, but you have to get the right hand of symbols. There's a list of possible hands you can get that are worth anything, and they're ranked in terms of what beats what. What else do we got? How to play a smuggler, what does it mean to be a smuggler, the normal kind of stuff you expect in a career source book. One last thing I do want to touch on, reputation. They have a system, some of these books have a system for reputation, and I find they're kind of interchangeable. This one, the Guardian source book, I haven't looked at it in great detail, but I found it very easy to adapt, and it's just more of a basic idea on how the NPCs in the world react to your players, which is great, really gives this sense of growth for them. That's another thing I don't implement quite as much as I would like to. Anyway, that's basically it for the Smuggler Sourcebook. Now, who should buy the Smuggler Sourcebook? First of all, if you're a smuggler, buy the book. Simple as that. Also, anyone else who, I guess, is just playing an Edge of the Empire character, you know, someone who really kind of focuses on what makes Edge of the Empire, that Wild West, seedy underbelly side of Star Wars. If you're playing a bounty hunter, a hired gun, really any character who's immersed in the whole crime aspect of Star Wars is going to get a lot out of this book, and it might be better to get that particular career you're actually playing source book, depending on the book. You can check out my other reviews to see for sure, but if you do and you find out, you know what, this book just really isn't for me, maybe you decide that this really doesn't bring to life the type of bounty hunter or hired gun or pirate or whatever else that you want to play, well, you really can't go wrong with the Smuggler Sourcebook. Now for GMs, this is also a really great choice because, as I said multiple times throughout, there are multiple features and sections which will work for any Edge of the Empire campaign. The Smuggler, in a way, is kind of the unofficial mascot of, or rather official, I guess, mascot of Star Wars Edge of the Empire. So catering to that type of playstyle or play styles, or what we think of as a Star Wars smuggler, obviously you're also going to be catering towards Star Wars Edge of the Empire in general. So this is a great source book for GMs. You got the equipment, the ships, the attachments, a bunch of little rules that add flavor like the showdown and the Hintaro dice every now and again, as well as things that would work for any campaign to help with the navigation rules, the traps and security systems. That's really great for anyone. I mean, it's kind of a big Star Wars thing for someone to be infiltrating a base of some kind, whether you're smugglers or rebels sneaking into a base, or a Jedi sneaking through some security system, some ancient temple to get some artifact. There is a lot of value here. However, for an Edge of the Empire GM, I would say that this is probably the third most useful source book to get, though the argument could be made for second, because the Technician source book is just one of the best source books in the game. Regardless of your campaign, you want the Technician source book. All the stuff they add with equipment and help filling out techie characters, it's just such a great, useful book. And odds are, unless you're really into the lore of Star Wars, like really into the lore far more than I am, odds are a location source book Whether it's, you know, an Edge of the Empire, Lords of Nalhutta, or Sons of Fortune, or even the Age of Rebellion and Force and Destiny ones. Nexus of Power and Strongholds of Resistance. Whatever the case, a location source book that best fits whatever campaign you have planned is probably going to be more useful to you than this. Though, of course, like I said, you could make a case for this and a location source book, this and the technician source book. Either way, this is probably top 2 or 3 books you should get as a GM. Anyway, that's it for today. If you like this video and want to see more, come back tomorrow. We got a new video every day for all of December, which is ending soon, finally. So enjoy it while you can, you fucks.